Josette, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And just real quick, as everybody is just tuning in, um, really just take a moment and to let her story translate into your own story. She has an incredible imprint that she can bring to each one of you. Okay. And what I want to say, first of all, is you know how when the first person ran the 4-minute mile, all of a sudden, in the consciousness that was possible. And then all these people started to run the 4-minute mile, right? Because our subconscious believes if that's possible for someone else, maybe it's possible for me. So just let that be a possibility for you as you hear her story, when you have all of your own stories of how uncurable your situation is. So thank you, Josette, for coming. And what I'd love for you to do is to share a summary of your story, meaning how severe your situation was, your diagnosis was, and then that choice that despite what you were just, the sentence you were just given, what you chose to do instead, and how you chose to live your values as your medicine.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, hi, everybody. So quick synopsis is I was diagnosed with advanced rheumatoid arthritis 11 years ago. I had a sudden onset of advanced RA, autoimmune disease. I woke up with my knees completely swollen, inflamed. I couldn't move, and my neck, believe it or not, was not movable. I thought it felt like everything had broken. I was in excruciating pain. They did some tests, and the doctor said, look, you're so advanced in terms of the numbers being so high. There's an inflammatory marker that they use to test how bad the immune response is in an autoimmune disease. And my left elbow, you can kind of see, I was never able to straighten it after the third day. So in 3 days, the joint structure of my elbow had been destroyed. And the doctor said, you're looking at, excuse me, at best, you're looking at 2 to 3 months before you are fully disabled, because it was that rapid. They had actually never seen anything so horrific. Lucky me. And so I had a very quick dark night of the soul, as we all go through. All of us have our challenges. This one was mine. I had a 12-month-old baby at the time. And what I ended up doing is I had not been living a a beautiful, happy life. I had been very stressed out. I wasn't choosing the best foods for my body. I was arguing with people. I was self-righteous. I was living a completely different persona at that time. And I made a decision to just stop in the pain, in the darkness, and go inside. Only because the outer world was telling me that the only options I had were an extraordinarily long list of pharmaceuticals, which they say took maybe 15 to 20 years off your life and had their own side effects. And that was it. That was the only option. The other, I was going to be in a wheelchair no matter what. It was just a matter of whether it was slowed down a little bit. And there weren't good options for me. They just weren't good options for me. So I had some really scary, dark moments in a lot of pain. I couldn't lift my son at the time. I had to engage in help. And I had a lot of people around me, because they loved me, said, just go and get the drugs, because we can't stand to see you in this much pain. What are you doing? Why are you hesitating? Just do what the doctors say. But my heart knew somehow that there was a different path that I was supposed to take. I didn't know it at the time. I was completely blind, completely in the dark, and in an extraordinary amount of pain. But and I have to interject here. There's some construction going on in my house, so if you hear that, that's over there. I tried to quiet them as much as I could. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling on. Long story short is a good amount of tears and a lot of prayers. And I made the decision to try a holistic approach to healing. I didn't know anything about it. I read some books on it. I did about a week of research like there was no tomorrow. And I decided, and deciding is a big thing, because once you make a decision for yourself, you're making a decision and you move forward on that decision. I decided to try holistic, and lo and behold, long story short, after falling on my face a million times and taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, a year after this whole thing started, I was declared a medical miracle, and I had no evidence of the disease in my blood. And I'm here to let people know what's, like you said, what's possible, because it's not just that I'm an anomaly. I've met hundreds of people coming into my class. They had multiple sclerosis, they had rheumatoid arthritis, they had so many different diseases that they were all able to heal. So we are all kind of standing as the lighthouses of what is possible, and perhaps what they're not telling us as well.
Thank you so much. I really want to hear about the part where you decided to start dancing despite being in tremendous pain as your passion and your purpose, and what that did for you.
Thank you. Well, when they told me I was going to be in a wheelchair, I'm a Juilliard graduate. I was a pro dancer at the Joffrey Ballet. I may actually move this outside because that's so loud. I was a professional dancer at Joffrey in my late teens, and dancing was my passion. And I had stopped dancing at the time. I was a new mom, so I wasn't doing any of that. And I said, gosh, if there is one thing I want to do before I lose everything, it was dance. And so it was easy to get a Zumba instructor license. They kind of just hand them out. You pay for that and you get a license. And I said, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it by myself. I'm going to do it with some people. And I started with 3 students in Santa Barbara as a Zumba instructor for the city of Santa Barbara, and was just swaying from side to side in a lot of pain. My husband actually had to carry me into the elevator to get to class, and I had my knees were wrapped, and I did take some ibuprofen just to try and get me through the class. But that was the beginning part of the healing, because the process of the energy shift internally and the remembrance perhaps of who I really was, and the connection with that greater part of me, it happened when I dance. When I dance, I'm in my zone. It's my happy place. So I put myself there, again, not knowing that all of that would be part of the healing, but I put myself there just thinking that it would be the last time I could dance.
I love it. You chose to do what you love despite whatever. You surrendered the outcome. You made that daily choice. I'm going to go be carried into this dance studio. I'm basically disabled, and I'm going to teach Zumba because it's the one thing right now that I can love and flow my energy. That's amazing.
And it was crazy at the time. I mean, my husband was really at the end of his rope with me. He was like, you're not doing anything that the doctors are telling you to do. Now you're going to go teach Zumba class. Like, what's happened to your brain? And I remember looking at him and looking at my son. My son was a huge catalyst for me. And I said, for the first time in my life, I am going to listen to the whispers of my heart. For the first time, you are all blocked out. I love you. I know your intentions are good for me. And I know everybody wants what's best for me, but damn it, this is my heart that's telling me these are the things I need to do. And I don't know why, but I have to follow them. I have to trust. And that trusting of yourself is a huge shift for all of us, because once we move from thinking we can do it into trusting and knowing that our inner guide always will guide us right, the game changes. It's a game changer.
That is It's such a phenomenal choice that you just made, that I feel like if everyone in this room could find that with that internal heart message, and even though it's often very counterintuitive, what you're describing is the classic thing. It's a counterintuitive prompting. The noise isn't that bad, by the way, on this end. It's not that bad. It's okay. We're still getting your transmission. The prompting is counterintuitive. And what you did is you had enough trust to surrender the outcome, whereas many people in here, I know, would be like, but this could flare me up if I did that. This could make it worse. I've got, my joints are degrading and I'm going to dance instead of do what the doctors, the experts told me to do. The fact that you chose to follow your heart is just a testament of your phenomenal trust in your inner guidance that you chose. Like, how did you go to that class and dance knowing that you could flare up your joints and you did it anyway? How did you do that?
Well, thank you for that lovely compliment. I actually think that we all have the capacity. And I think that when we're in a situation like that, if we're given the opportunity to say, you know what, you can take this path of the drugs, it's going to be a Band-Aid and you're not going to be in a lot of pain, but the rest of your life will be a slave. You will be literally on your knees as a slave, relying on the medication to get you through your life. There's option door number one. Door number two wasn't presented to me, but it was there. And that's kind of my message, is there's always a door that maybe we can't see at the time. Dig a little deeper, look a little further, take responsibility. And I think that if people understand that that option's there, it is a different path. It is the one less traveled, but that's the one to take, and that's the one of your soul. And I think, I don't know that it took that much courage as much as it took a little bit of I was really angry. I wanted to know, what causes autoimmune disease? Why did this happen to me? What am I supposed to do? Why are you not telling me that I'm going to be okay? The doctors, and this was probably a good thing for me, they were not nice to me. They were, next, bring in the next, we'll see you in 2 weeks, next. And I thought, I have a child that I love more than life itself. I value my life. I value the time I'm here on this planet. Why aren't you giving me the answers that will help me? How can I fix this? And there wasn't any of that. So I think that I just, again, and I have to point to my son because I love him so much, that I had to look not only in the mirror, but I had to look at him for the rest of my life. And I needed to kind of come to terms with, okay, what this is the fork in the road. Where are you going? And I think that most people, again, if they're not complacent with what we're being told and actually dig deeper for the truth, which is always inside of us, will know that the courage is there. It's in every one of us. We all have this inherent ability to heal. We just don't know it.
I love it. And what's amazing is you just missed the first part of our discussion today, but you just summarized the slides that we just shared, which was, we shared a Rumi quote: let yourself be drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love, your son, dance. And then I said, there's two choices in how to go through this. There's a fix-it lifestyle, and there is a creation values-led lifestyle. And the second one is so counterintuitive, but our heart knows it. We just have to ask. And if all we do is listen to the fix-it lifestyle of the drugs, the doctors, the supplements, the programs, we can't hear that other choice. We start to hear the other choice when you start getting in touch of what I love, my son. What is this? What's the other way? And then it becomes illuminated. And that is the choice. And you're just the perfect example of primal trust, Josette. You really are.
Yeah, I mean, go get happy. Just get happy. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I was in excruciating pain. I I was so scared that I was going to be in a wheelchair and I was going to have my son push me around. There was all of that. I'm not denying that that didn't exist, but you can point your flashlight wherever you want in the world. You know, Anita Moorjani, I don't know if you're familiar with her. She wrote a book called Dying to Be Me. And I heard her speak once, and she said she had a near-death experience. And she said that what she realized is that life is like a big warehouse. And when all the floodlights are on, every option is there. Everything, the millions, the mansion, the beaches, the mountains, every option for your life is there. But we live with the lights out and a flashlight on. And we're pointing our flashlight, and that's all we can see. We don't know that the rest is also there. So it's our flashlight is our focus. So for me, I again made the decision I was going to focus 1 hour. That's it, just 1 hour, and do what I absolutely love to do. And that 1 hour shifted inside of me the fear to a different higher level emotion. And then eventually it became I know who I am, and this isn't an ego thing, but we're all there and we can all heal. I know it. I knew it. In fact, when the doctor that took my blood, she comes to my class. She's a board certified internal medicine specialist. She was actually the head of the Santa Barbara County Health Department. And she said, I need to take your blood because what I'm witnessing on this stage and in this class, it's not possible. Like it's impossible. And I said to her, I said, it's impossible to you because you're limited in what your vision is. I said, we decide what's possible in our lives. We decide. And to this day, she comes to the class and she said, they didn't teach us this in medical school.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, we can't be limited just because they're limited.
Right. Wow, it's so beautiful. And I love that she was open to experiencing your journey. I see a couple of comments in the chat box about people that are afraid that we're demonizing medicine, and that's not at all. And in fact, most of my teachings have said, go ahead and follow protocols if you feel called, but that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be on living. If you choose to partner with a doctor, and there's many great doctors out there, allow them to have, but their say, but you need to decide how much of that protocol is right for me. And what you do decide, that's fine. Just keep your mind off it and you focus on living and loving. You can do both. Absolutely. So we're not saying, go become just a faith healer here. We're saying that it's possible to have the incurable be cured by living, and that it's not always the answer of, having to do the one path. So this is not a black or white conversation, you guys. It never is with me.
And I want to make that again clear. Yeah, that's beautifully said. And I think, look, you guys, the problem that we are all having is that we put so much responsibility in their hands.
Yes.
I have my doctor that I just spoke about this in my class. She is my best friend. I love her. And she still tells me I have to come in for this and I have to go do this test. And I go because I know there's a lot of benefit in Western medicine, and there are some incredible people and incredible technologies. Come on. I mean, nobody's going to doubt that, but the responsibility is on us. And if that, for me, in my situation, they weren't giving me a solution. And so I didn't want to leave them responsible for my life. I took the responsibility back. And what I'm saying also is that I'm not going to hide because I healed a disease and they couldn't. This is the truth. I did heal it. I am without disease. I have been for 10 years. And I to be perfectly honest with you, originally I had done a few interviews. There was an NPR interview and it was on Facebook, and there was so much, you're a quack, you're a fraud, this is impossible, why don't you go hide, stop with your misinformation. And I never spoke about it for like 6 or 7 years because I thought, I don't want to be bullied. And then I got together with a woman named Julia Loggins, who's the singer Kenny Loggins' wife. And she also healed a disease, and she has a practice here in Santa Barbara. And she said, So there's so many people that are now in the situation you are in, and they don't know that it's possible. And do you not feel that maybe your experience wasn't just for you? Maybe it was to help other people. So I am not putting down medicine, but I'm also not willing to shut up, hide, be small, and be quiet because it makes other people uncomfortable. Sorry, you guys. I love Western medicine. I have nothing wrong with it, but they don't have all the answers. They just don't. At least
That's
not
right.
in my life experience. That's it.
And most of us in here, we're in here because we've been battling illness for years and years and years and years and years. And if they had the answer, you wouldn't be in this class right now. What I'm saying is that there is more for you to focus on than figuring it out. There's another path that can help you. It's not black and white. It doesn't mean that you don't take some medication that is supporting you. There's more. You got to open the flashlight analogy, like she said, you're looking with a flashlight. You got to open up all possibilities and recognize every day, what should you be focusing on? And I love, Josette, you said an hour a day. How much have you guys heard me say, I spent also an hour a day for a year focusing on what I love? The research of neuroplasticity says an hour a day of focusing on what you love and rewiring your nervous system. And so you're just speaking to the studies, and I love your message. I love all aspects of it, even the disruptive part, because that's what has to happen to get past some of our unconscious rules, which we call rules or bullshit rules in our nervous system, that the authority figures have it all figured out. And I know there are doctors here in this call right now. We've got some physicians, and there's so much wisdom there. Can you imagine if we could partner both? Here's what we can do to support you, and what can you do to support you, and be open to both paths. That's where the higher solutions are found. So I love it. I love what you've said. And now, what do you do to maintain your frequency? What do you do to maintain this alignment? What is your life like now?
Well, once I realized that we create our own reality. It's so funny. I didn't know any of that, the neuroplasticity. I'm fascinated. An hour a day is the way to start. None of our callings in life, the things we love, the things that rock our world, the things that make us happy, it's not by accident. Those are there for a reason. And the deprogramming took a long time. Healing is not for the lighthearted. This path that we collectively are all on, and thank God you're holding this container to support, because that's something we all need. It's not easy, but right now I spend as much time as possible. So today's just a funny day with distractions. I spend as much time as possible with my son. He's now 13. We live in California, and he was really struggling with the mask laws in school last year. So we pulled him out to homeschool him this year, and it's been the best thing in the whole world. We go cycling together and bike riding together and have little adventures together. I still teach my class. I never stopped during COVID. I went outside, I went inside, I went upstairs, I went downstairs, I went online, I went offline. And I am speaking a lot more on this subject. So this is actually where my heart is pulling me to speak more on this subject. I've been doing a lot of podcasts and speaking, and it's interesting now. It feels like there's a little bit more of an opening to, well, maybe there are some things that we don't know. And I certainly don't know all the answers, but I am standing very closely with my truth and with what my life experience has taught me, and just moving forward with joy, number one, and respect for everyone, no matter where they're at, and just kind of holding hands with each other, walking through this life. Especially now, it's a crazy time. So just navigating the circus that's out there, and remaining aligned with the only thing that really matters, which is inside of us. That space.
I love that. And I think that I think it's so important that you're willing to speak about your experience despite being misunderstood or judged, because really all you're doing is challenging a program that we have in us of authority figure. And this, we have to like surrender our will into this expert opinion and not check in with our own body. And many of us here on this path are here because we haven't been able to check in with our own body and our own wisdom, which is why we're stuck in chronic illness in the first place. And so you're illuminating how quickly, I mean, a year healing severe rheumatoid arthritis, that's actually not very long. You know, it really isn't. And through that choice of alignment, you know, this is the message. We need to broadcast this message of the self-healing frequency that we have within us, which is my goal too with Primal Trust. It's a path, and we're going to talk about it more in class today, of this choice of choosing to live our values, choosing to live what matters, what we love, has the most magical, mysterious capacity to change our life, not just our physiology, but our relationships. I would like you to just, I have no idea, but my guess is that your relationship must have turned around a little bit in that time as well, because I tend to see like combative relationships. I'm wondering, like, how did this alignment shift your own relationship, your own marriage? Was there a shift in the marriage? Because that's what I also see. And I just love for you to tell me the truth about that.
I'm just so pumped to be in this group with you guys, because when I was sick, I didn't have you. Where were you? I'm so grateful you're doing this.
I was sick at that time, actually, in bed,
Yeah.
trying to fix it. I was trying to fix it 11 years ago.
Disease is it's like I said, it's not fun. My husband, right before I got sick, and this also I believe contributed to my illness. We cannot keep saying that stress can bring down our immune system and not and keep living stressful lives. We were fighting all the time. In fact, we had put on the table we were going to separate. And when the disease happened, I couldn't take care of our son by myself. So the separation got postponed. I hit a point where I said to him, I'm not willing to fight with you anymore. I'm fighting for my own physicality right now. I feel like I'm in the fight of my life. I can't spend any energy fighting with you. So if you want to be right, you're right. I don't care. I just want to move again. And I want to stop the pain. And he made a decision also to support me there. And it did shift everything. Everything shifted. I also, once I took responsibility for my own physicality and my own life and my own journey, and I cut everybody off. I mean, everybody off the hook. I cut all the doctors, not cut them away, not in any malice, not with any bad things. I love you all. Guess what? This is my responsibility. It is 100% me. This hurts like a and I can't move, and I'm scared, and I'm in so much pain, and I'm crying. But guess what? It's me and me. I'm looking in the mirror. I don't care what you think or what you think or what you're telling me or what you're telling me, or even what my husband wants to say. Mom, I love you, but go away for right now because I need to work this out with me. And so taking that responsibility and leaving everybody, nobody's to blame. I'm the one. I'm responsible for my life. That shifted our marriage because he was no longer responsible for my joy or my pain. He just showed up the best he could. And I did too. And we're now 20 years married. And I have to say, never been better. We're never happier.
I love it. You're hitting like all these points from class 3, which one of them is taking radical responsibility. It just, you guys, this, what she just described, listen to this transmission, the responsibility that she brought back into her energy field for her wellness, for her emotional state, stopped putting her energy onto others so that that energy could come and do what it does to her own body. That's what happens when we take responsibility and we let go of blame. We let go of, trying to basically fix our partners as well. I'm responsible for me, and miracles happen. So I love that. I didn't know that part of your relationship. Just as you were talking, I'm like, I bet her relationship changed too, because I see that so much when people take this alignment with their truth, their intimate relationships have a radical change as well. That's so beautiful. I love that.
I just want to also say it seems almost funny standing in this position looking back, because again, I just want to kind of relate to the fact that being sick and having illness and having pain and having all of that, it's not an easy soup to navigate. It's really, it's extraordinarily torturous and painful and hideous, and there are such deep depths. But if you can see the other side, at least the side that I'm standing on, once you tread that river, the heights are equal, if not more, than those depths.
Thank you so much. And it's so clear. I mean, you're radiant, you're beautiful. You've been now teaching Zumba every day for what, 11 years, you said? Every day, you guys, she does what she loves. Can you believe that? Like, she really meant it. Like, I love this and I'm going to do this. And you've created this beautiful lifestyle. You're like one of the most famous Zumba instructors in the world. Like, you guys have to check out one of her classes online. Like, she's amazing. And you're just living it. And I think that the more that you continue to free yourself up to speak your transmission, it's just going to be so powerful, because the world is getting more and more ready to hear, because we are limited in our solutions now. Autoimmune illness is on the rise, chronic infection, chronic illness, nervous system disorder, all on the rise, because we're not reminded of the simple message of there's a medicine inside of you. Maybe it's not the only medicine you choose, but there is a medicine inside of you to partner with, to lead you through. And I just love it. So I'd like you to just, if you have a closing remark, and then we're going to go into just kind of a moment of reflection afterwards, but a closing remark. Most of the people in this community have chronic illness, chronic pain, chronic infection. They've been doing brain retraining. They've probably been to doctor. And now they are trying to take responsibility of shifting their own perception of their reality in order to heal and to develop primal trust and that ability to choose what you chose every day, which was to get up and dance despite how you felt. Just any closing remark for them. I'd love to hear it.
Trust yourself. Trust yourself. I mean, what a beautiful title, Primal Trust. Trust and know. I'm not standing here just blabbing. This is real. Trust yourself. I trust you. And the world needs you to trust yourself. We are extraordinary beings, all of us. We're divine sparks. And know that. Stand in your knowing. Empower yourself to know who you really are. We are all capable of not only holding each other in love and light and lifting each other up and creating the world that we know we're here to live and the life we know we're here to live, but yeah, trust it. Trust yourself. Trust me. Trust each other. Trust yourself.
I love that. And I'd like to just close this with a moment of taking in Josette's transmission and her example into your field of possibility, because there's an activation available for you here. Josette, we often do something called a brain rewiring attunement, where we connect in the conscious field and do some brain work. But I want to do just kind of a version of that just for a moment, where you just everybody listening, just closing their eyes and taking an opportunity to connect with this frequency, this example that Josette has just relayed to you. Much like watching a man break the 4-minute mile record, where now you've seen something different. Okay. And everyone listening, just what principle did she teach that is something that can lead your life right now? What's something that you've gained from her that can translate into your own life? And let your subconscious take in that principle. Her specifics might be different than you, but there's a hero's journey here. that she just laid out that you're on, that you're on. There's an example of how she surrendered the outcomes and did what she wanted to anyway. And it was counterintuitive, especially for someone with RA. What's your example? What is being asked by your heart? And let her story attune you to your own truth, to your own drive, to your own why. And just breathing that in. You see what's possible here. And can you allow yourself to be worthy to receive that same possibility for you? What does your body want to do if there were all possibility? What does your body want to do as its medicine? What does your heart want you to do as its medicine? What's your story? How does it end? How does it turn out as you follow this medicine? Is it possible for you to dance your way back into wellness or whatever it is that you choose to do? Thank you. Thank you, Josette.
Wow. Thank you. I'm deeply moved. And thank you for Kathleen for the opportunity to speak and to share. We need to know who we really are. Thank you.
We do. And you're just such a great example. And I'm so glad to have you in the class, and you're welcome to stick around as we teach more. And then at the end, we're going to do an attunement. And I encourage everybody to check out Josette. If you like to dance, check out one of her dance classes. I think they're every day, aren't they?
They are. And actually, you know what I'm going to do, Kathleen? I'm going to send a link to you, and you can share it with your community of a free class if they want to get online and they see what we're doing.
Thank
they
you.
can check out a free class, and then come visit me, send me a direct message. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.
Yay.
I would love to support anybody. If you need any more information, I'm always available.
Yeah, she's been so open. The chat box is going crazy right now. Everybody's so excited. Yes. Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Gosh, it's been such
I am going to head out because they're going to start drilling in a second.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your just everything. I'm so grateful to have you finally live in class instead of just talking about you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Josette.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, that's so awesome. All right. Well, I know that I hope that was impactful for you, because her story really impacted me. And I know there was a few comments in here that was a little like, oh, but my medicine, again, it can be both. Doesn't mean that there's not a medicine within your heart to follow. And I hope that this just helps you to know that there's something there for you.